To set up a course for iClicker, open the folder where your software is installed. Remember that you can give the folder any name you want and also rename it anytime. In the example shown here, the folder has been named Spring 2021. With the folder open, double-click on the iClicker application to run it. This is what you see when you run the iClicker application. Here's where you'll find the list of courses. To set up a new course, click on the Create button. You will see this button under the list of courses that you have created. Here's the Create button. Of course, initially you won't have any courses listed, so initially your screen will look like this. Once you click on the Create button, a dialog box will pop up. Enter the course name. Here I entered Chem 304 Spring 2021. Then click on the Create button. Once you have created a course, you can set it up by clicking on it in the course list. The selected course will be highlighted. Here, Chem 304 Spring 2021 has been selected. Then click on Settings. This is what you see when you click on Settings. Course settings are organized in tabs. Click on any of the tabs to access them. Be sure to click the Save button to commit all the changes you've made. Shown here are the settings you can change in the General tab. What you see here are the default settings. You can change the course name. You can designate a specific iClicker to remote as the teacher's remote by entering its serial number here. The serial number of an iClicker to remote is shown on the LCD screen when it's powered on. It can also be found on a sticker at the back of the remote. You can also enter a welcome message that will show up on the student's remote's LCD screen when they turn them on. The iClicker to remotes and receivers must be tuned to the same frequency to be able to communicate. Here's where you set the frequency code for the receiver. By default, the frequency code is AA. There are 16 possible frequencies, which are designated by two-letter codes, AA, AB, AC, AD, BA, BB, etc. The teacher's remote must be set to the same frequency code. Otherwise, it will not be able to communicate with the receiver. You can see the frequency code on the LCD screen of your iClicker to remote when you turn it on. Instructions for changing the frequency code, if you have to, are given at the back of the remote. Student remotes must also be set to the same frequency code as the receiver. When you do a poll, your receiver will ignore signals from remotes that are not set to the same frequency code. You may get stray votes from students in a nearby classroom if students there are using the same frequency. You can try to minimize this by coordinating with the teacher in the other classroom so that you are using different frequencies. Be sure to tell students what frequency code you are using. My recommendation is for everyone to just use the default frequency code, AA. The iClicker gradebook will allow you to easily weed out the stray votes anyway. Click on the Scoring tab to specify how you want students to be graded. Make sure you do this before your first session if you don't want to use the default settings. You can make changes during the semester, but changes will only be applied to future sessions. They cannot be applied retroactively. You can award participation points depending on how many responses the student has submitted during that session, regardless of whether the response was correct or not. The default is 1 point when the student responds to at least 75% of the questions asked. You can also award performance points. You can award points just for responding and additional points for getting the answer right. You have the option to cap performance points. Personally, I set my participation points to 0, set performance points to 0.01 for responding, and 1 point for getting the answer right. This means that if a student scored a total of 5.07, then the student responded to 7 questions and got only 5 of them right. I use clicker points for extra credit, so I feel students should work for it. I tell my students that I don't curve grades, but they can pull up their grades by earning bonus points. I typically ask at least 200 questions over the course of one semester, and in the Moodle gradebook, I normalize the bonus points so that the maximum extra credit a student can get is 5%. That's half a letter grade if a student answers all clicker questions correctly. To allow students to participate in polls using iClicker Reef, click on the Mobile tab, then click on the Enable button. A dialog window will pop up. Enter your email address and password. If you have previously established an account with the Reef service, click on the Sign In button. Otherwise, click on the Create Account button. Click on the Create New Course button. Fill in the required information. If you have one Reef-enabled course, be sure to tell students which of your courses they should sign up for on Reef. Then, click on the Create button. If you have previously enabled Reef access for the course, you may see something like this when you click on the Mobile tab. You can change the information you previously entered by clicking on the Edit button. Or you can remove access to the course from the Reef service by clicking on the Delete button. Linking your iClicker course to your Moodle course will allow you to sync rosters and grades. Click on the Gradebook tab. Enter your institution's name. Here, Nicholls State University is entered. Click on the Select Course button. iClicker will log you into Moodle. You will be prompted to enter your username and password. It's a good idea to check the box to save your credentials so that you won't have to log in later when you sync your roster and grades. Do remember that if you change your password in the future, you will need to go through this process again. Click on Login to proceed. You will then be given a list of Moodle courses for which you are the instructor. Note that courses that are hidden in Moodle will not appear in the list. Click on the Moodle course that you want to link to your iClicker course. Then, click on Select. The actual syncing of the roster and grades will not be done until you initiate it later while in iClicker's gradebook. Once you have linked your iClicker course to the corresponding Moodle course, you can synchronize the rosters. In the iClicker application, select the course, then click on Open Gradebook. This is how your gradebook will look like initially. Click on Sync Roster. The roster from the linked Moodle course will then be downloaded and your gradebook will now look like this. The names of students will appear in the first column. A student's name will be shown in blue if there is at least one iClicker 2 remote or a Reef account associated with that student. Otherwise, it will appear in red. Clicking on a student's name will show you serial numbers of remotes and or Reef accounts that the student has registered. You can register serial numbers here yourself, but it is best to let the students do the registration themselves through Moodle. Since course enrollment is likely to change during a semester, you should periodically resync your rosters. This also takes care of cases where a student lost a remote, bought a new one, and registered it through Moodle. If the use of iClicker involves a grade, you need to be able to link the responses to the students who submitted them. If a student is using Reef, this is automatic. However, for iClicker 2 remotes, you need to be able to link the remote serial number to the student in your course. Be sure to inform students that they can participate in iClicker polls with unregistered remotes. Any points earned will be credited retroactively once the remote is registered. The easiest way to register students' remotes is through Moodle. You must first set up a registration block on your Moodle course site. Go to your Moodle course site and turn editing on. As of 2021 at Nicholls, this is how the landing page for the Moodle course site looks like. And this is the button that you click on to turn editing on. Under your name and picture on the upper right-hand side, you should see the link to add course blocks to your course. Here it is. Click on it. Clicking on course blocks will expand it to show all the blocks you have added to your course. Find the Add a Block box. Click on the pull-down menu. The available blocks are listed alphabetically, so you may need to scroll down to find iClicker. Here's iClicker. Click on it. This is what you'll see after the iClicker block has been added. This is the iClicker block. Click on the Close button to collapse the course blocks. Here I've switched my role to that of a student so that you can see how a student could access the iClicker registration. You need to tell the students to click on course blocks to access iClicker registration. When students click on course blocks, the clicker block should pop out. In the iClicker block, there is a link to student registration. The student should click on it. This is the iClicker student registration page. A student enters his or her iClicker remote ID here. Then click on the Register button. The iClicker remote ID is the serial number. There are two places where they can find the serial number of an iClicker 2 remote. On the LCD screen when they turn on the remote, and on a sticker at the back of the remote. If students need help, answers to frequently asked questions are on the right side of the page.